All right, so welcome back everyone. Great to see you. And first of all, have to make just a pre-announcement. There's probably going to be a fair bit of noise in this session, background noise, because we've got our socially distanced builders back in building us an extension on the house. So lots of sawing and all sorts of stuff going on. So I apologise for that if that interrupts us. But we're going to crack on and continue the first session of this week. So let's switch over to the presentation which I've prepared for you, and we can take a look at what we're going to get into. We're rolling really into a new topic this week. So as you can see, we've got how to get traffic with content marketing, and over the next few sessions we're going to be going through different traffic methods and talking a lot about the logic of traffic and what the pros and cons are of the different methods, why people struggle, and so on. So that's what we're going to be focused on. So let's just make sure I've got this. So many controls with these live streams, have all sorts of stuff going on, so that's why it always takes me a minute to queue everything up. So here we go. All right, so first of all, let's just talk broadly about traffic. Well, there is a general infatuation with traffic. Many people online think they need more traffic, and they always ask the question, how do you get more traffic? That's one of the key questions over the years I've been asked many times at live events and on email, all sorts of places. And it's totally natural, because the logic seems to be that if you could just get more traffic, then of course, you could put up different offers or affiliate offers or your own products and you just make money. So that's the kind of logic to it, and it's totally understandable. But the truth is, things are a little bit different in reality. So let's walk through how we should be thinking about traffic before we get into any specific methods. With smart marketing, you can do a lot and earn a lot with small amounts of traffic. So more traffic is not always the right answer. Sometimes it might be, but it's often not always the right answer. The easiest way to get traffic is to build offers that are highly desirable. Now that takes us way back to session 4, episode 4 of this course, and that's where we talked a lot about pinpointing your prospects' desires. I can't emphasize enough how important that is. For example, you can become an incredible world-leading expert at content marketing, Facebook ads, Google ads, joint ventures and affiliates. These are different traffic methods, many of which we'll be talking about in this session and the coming sessions. So imagine you're a super world-leading expert on these. But if you're unable to present offers that convert, then you won't make money. On the other hand, if you're great at building super desirable offers, you can still make a lot of money by being okay or mediocre at these traffic methods. So this is the kind of logic. So people think, let's go and learn, let's say, Facebook ads, and they'll go off and really study it hard and think that's the answer. Well, obviously it's great to be great at Facebook ads, but that's not going to make you money unless you've got an offer that's actually desirable. Let's develop this a little bit more. All traffic has a cost of time, money, or both. So let's imagine you've got traffic coming to you and it costs you $3 per visitor. Now that could be the cost of your time to get the traffic, or it could be the cost of the paid ad platform that you're using, so like Google ads or Facebook ads, or a mix of both, your time and money. It doesn't really matter. This is just to outline the principle here of the framework of thinking. Let's say it costs you $3 per visitor. Now obviously, if you've got an offer that when you send traffic to it, it makes $5 per visitor, you're $2 in profit and it's happy days. But on the other hand, if you haven't watched session 4 and you haven't really, in this course or other courses you do, or your learning or general education, you haven't really paid much attention to product creation, really finding out what people want in your market and being able to put that in front of them. If you haven't really paid that much attention, then you may end up with an offer like this, that when you present to people, when visitors arrive at that offer and they see it, not many people buy it. So it only makes, say, 25 cents per visitor. Now, if you're in that situation at the bottom right here, you'll never get any traffic. It's going to be incredibly difficult because you can't buy it, because you just perpetually lose money, because the cost of buying that traffic is going to be less than what you make. And if you put time into it, then it's just endless, an infinite amount of time just to get people in and then make a tiny bit of money. So you can see, yes, you can be great at traffic and you've got different levels of expertise, and that is a skill set we're going to be looking at now and in the next coming couple of sessions. But can you see just how important it is to be desirable and to learn conversion? What makes people click that buy button and think, yes, I want this? If you can crack that, that unlocks the key and the doors open to a lot of traffic. So before we go any further and dive into today's specific traffic method, let's just check back. Does that make sense? Can you let me know in the chat if that makes sense to you? And hello, Chris. Hello, Roy. Trevor, yes, still with us, and Ian as well. So that's great. Let me know if that makes sense. And what we're going to do is move on to this content marketing. And that's what we're going to look at today. So this is very much the way I think about this anyway, is it's the long game. This is not a traffic method that's going to get you traffic by this afternoon or tomorrow. It's something that you do repeatedly and you invest a lot of time and energy in, and hopefully you'll see some payoff over the long term. Now, I know the way I've just described that doesn't make it sound very appealing. And that's partly because of my personal bias. When I began in 2010, this is basically what I was doing. I'm not even sure it was called content marketing back then. It was more things like SEO and blogging and that kind of stuff. But basically publishing content on different places on the web with the hope that people would see that content and then come back to your website. That's a very, very rough kind of definition of content marketing. This is a whole traffic method in itself. You will see all sorts of stuff online about it. You can go very, very deep into this and get quite detailed. Obviously here, we're going to go from first principles and just look at the general idea, so you know what that this is available and you know about it and whether you want to use it or not. So I will say this, as we'll see, it has got some very, very big upsides. So it's like all of these methods, we'll be going through the pros and cons of each. Okay. So Chris says, that makes perfect sense. Session 4 is seriously important. I'm in a session 4, Eddie, round and round. Oh, great. Well, that's really good. Honestly, session 4, and that's just scratching the surface. We obviously beyond the scope of this course to go into great detail about dialing in desire and so on. I've done not whole courses, but many, many modules of paid courses on that kind of stuff and live training and so on. But you can learn all of this, all right? I'm not here to pitch you anything. You can go online, you can learn it. Just be aware of it, conscious of it. And the more you do that, the better you will become. It's a skill set, right? It's not magic. You're not born with it. You will get better and better and better at dialing in desire. And what that does is open the doors to more and more traffic. And that means more conversion, more sales, and more profit. Back to content marketing. Here's a great example, a terrific example. Very well known in the UK. He's a fitness guy, and I think he's done a little bit in other countries and been interviewed maybe. He's been doing live streams on YouTube actually with huge audience, like millions of people during the COVID lockdown. But his story starts way before that. And this is basically he leveraged his success using content marketing. So what Jay Wicks did, I think I believe he trained as a personal trainer and took on sort of private clients, as most of them do. And then I think it was maybe Richmond Park in London, he started a boot camp, and he'd stand outside the station with his placard saying, come to my boot camp, and go to the park and there'd be like 4 people there, and so on. So what he started to do was use social media for content marketing. And the thing that really stuck, and really, to be honest, this is before I was aware of him, but this is a few years ago, he did a thing on Instagram with a hashtag leanin15, where he'd post 15-second videos of nutritious meals. So even though he's a fitness coach, he basically got his way in, if you like, or a large part of his success came from the nutrition side. So what that did is go kind of viral, got really popular, and so on. And obviously his popularity became bigger and bigger and bigger. But he kept posting. So he's posted huge amounts to Instagram. He's posted huge amounts to YouTube. If you check his YouTube channel out, it's incredible. There's so much content there. And then, of course, separately, he's got paid courses and all the rest of it. That's for another day. We're looking at the traffic methods. So this is a great example of content marketing. He's just basically spreading the word by creating content, in this case 15 seconds videos, and putting them up on Instagram. And he does that not for 2 weeks and thinking, oh, it's not worked yet, I'll stop it. Just repeatedly, again and again and again. So it's a real, I think Jay Wicks is a real good lesson in tenacity. He just will not give up. It just keeps on going. And, particularly with content marketing, that is one of the secrets to success. Now, the other thing is, and I want to bring in, going back to the desire angles, he's an interesting case study. We actually did a big case study for my coaching members on this not so long ago, and we really looked inside his business and looked at all sorts of different stuff. But there's one little thing that I'd like to share with you from that, and that's this: that he didn't invent anything. He just came up with new angles. Now, this is his own words. In interviews, he said this: I haven't invented any new fitness techniques. I'm not using a new technique that I've created or anything like that. All of the fitness stuff that he does has been done before. What he has done, though, is curate it into a unique recipe. And this is a massive lesson, all right, as much as content marketing is for this session. So what does he do? Well, this is broadly, right? So you've seen the nutrition stuff already. And what it's about is rapid recipes, not drawn out, 3-hour Delia Smith kind of recipes or something. Really quick stuff that you can do in a busy lifestyle. Also, you'll see on his YouTube channel, he does a lot about weight loss. And that's his unique angle there, is really that he's against low calorie diet. So I suppose, I haven't been on any of these things, but things like maybe Weight Watchers or these kind of big programs that are all about low calories, and you get on the bathroom scales and measure yourself every day. So he's totally against weighing yourself, bathroom scales, no low calorie diets, all that kind of stuff. If you want to measure your progress, he says take photos of yourself. So that again is a new angle on weight loss, or his personal angle. Fitness, obviously his main thing, and he does use equipment on occasion, all right, so dumbbells and stuff, but it's very, very simple, and most of it is easy to get into, and absolutely no equipment is required whatsoever. You don't need a mat, you don't need to go to a gym, you can do it anywhere, and no equipment required. So this bit is simplifying. So this is a great technique that you could apply in your market. How can you simplify something? If you think about the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule, then what is the 80%? Get rid of that 20%, which is the complexity and all the other things, and if this happens, that, and all these hypothetical scenarios. Forget that. What's the 80% that's simple, that will allow people to get up most of the rungs on their ladder to get to where they want to go? That's the key. So obviously, I can't speak for Jay Wicks, obviously I can't, but I would suspect that he would say, look, if you want to go in and get into more complex fitness regimes, and you want to use more, you want to start using equipment and complex equipment and all these kind of different training methods, then of course that's fine. All right, but that's the 20%. The 80% is just basic fitness simplified. And that's got a beauty to it. Simplicity has a real beauty to it. I've used the simplify approach in many different kind of products and different modules and so on that I've done over the years. It really, really cuts through and helps you have a clean message. Again, for desirability and also effectiveness, because if you weigh people down with loads of complex stuff, guess what? They don't do it. Or it seems too difficult, they have too many questions. Just simplify things is a great angle for you to use and to think about where you can apply. And then finally, there's a mindset angle, which is probably maybe a little bit less so, but it's still important. So one of his phrases, ready to win the day, which certainly resonates with me. That's how I think, really, generally. And put together, all right, again, each one of these things is not unique, but he's got a position. All right, it's not just general information on nutrition, general information on weight loss, general information and training on mindset and fitness, and it all sort of splodged together. He's got a unique position on each one of these, but then put together, well, that is the real recipe. All right, and that's the Joe Wicks kind of recipe. All right, so I just say this is, again, I'm not speaking for him at all, of course. It's just my take on it. But this is what I see. I'm just conveying what I observe. And there's many other people like this. I've picked this because it's quite a good example, I think, for content marketing. But there's many other businesses that you can look at. And if you try and look at it through this lens, what are they doing? What are the different aspects they're covering? Maybe there's 1, 2, 3, or in this case, 4 different main aspects. And what approach are they taking? Are they simplifying one thing? Have they got another angle here? That is the recipe. If you can understand that, and that framework, that broad framework, and apply that along with all of the other stuff that we've talked about in this course, particularly in session 4, pinpointing prospects' desires, you could be onto a real winner. And once you've got that unique angle and the unique recipe, no one can touch you because it's yours. You've concocted it. So this is a massive bonus. When you're doing content marketing, any kind of traffic, you're getting people come in and they see something which is unique. So here are some powerful content marketing strategies. Chris, thank you. He said, Chris says, what you are providing here, Rob, is really amazing. Thank you. I appreciate that, and I'm really glad it's the more people that can watch it is great. I hope it's just inspiration, and then the idea is that you can then go off and learn more. And if that's from me, that's terrific. Or if not, if it's somewhere else, that's brilliant as well. There's so many ways to learn. So just get stuck in. It's a brilliant. It's great, this business. The more you understand about it, the more addictive and the more enjoyable it gets. It's a fantastic thing to do. So, and by the way, if you do like it, please hit the like button. I'd really appreciate that on YouTube. hopefully over time more people will find this as it stays up on the channel. So really appreciate it. Hit that like button, would be most appreciated. So here's some powerful content marketing strategies. Social media, well, we've just seen that with Instagram. Obviously there's other platforms like Facebook and so on. Now blogging, as I mentioned, that was really when I began in 2010. I had blogs for different niches that are in, and you'd blog and the idea was that people would find those blogs mainly through Google and then come in and buy things and so on. Another great strategy is being interviewed. So hadn't been interviewed for quite a while actually, and then a couple of weeks ago I got interviewed for a new tech podcast, okay, about some of the software products that I've produced over the years. So that's a great thing, because then when that interview gets put out, somebody else is promoting it, and then people can find you, and then obviously some of them will look me up, find my website and come on, maybe join my list, maybe buy some products and so on. All right. And with all of these methods, what I found, my personal experience, is that content marketing, it is the long game. You've got to do it consistently for a long time, and it's very uncertain results. But the traffic that you do get from it is I would go as far as to say it's very high quality. So if you imagine there's that interview of me, or somebody interviews you about your product or what you do, and it goes out there. So someone listens to the interview first of all. Then they think that's interesting. Then they go to Google, they look you up, or they click on a link, they check your website out, they like what you see, then they join your list. So there you go, that's 5 steps before they've hit your list. And they've absorbed your information beforehand. That is very, very powerful. That's high quality traffic. May not be huge bulk, high volume traffic, but it's very, very high quality traffic. That's much more high quality than if you, say, bought a Facebook ad, somebody clicked, had a look at one page and thought, oh yeah, I'll sign up. Okay, that person could still go on to spend thousands of dollars with you, but they may not. All right, so that's the thing with content marketing. The quality of it can be very, very high. Now you can speak at events, you can create content for others. So see, these are other things that I used to do more of. I'm more on sort of some of the other traffic methods, which we'll get onto in the next sessions now. But I used to do a lot of this. So creating content for others. So I used to write articles, which used to get published in paid newsletters that used to go out actually in print form through people's mailboxes. So people would read those articles, read my article in the magazine, and some of them would look me up, come through, and again, those people tend to be really high quality subscribers. Get featured in publications. Okay, so from time to time I've been featured or contributed as well to different publications on the web. I had a client who actually did really, really well with this. What she did was she got featured in some major publications like the Daily Mail and Grazia, these different magazines here in the UK. And obviously when you do that, then there's your exposure to a bigger audience is great, and those people can come back. But the key is they've consumed some content first. That's why it's called content marketing. Therefore the quality of their subscribers is much higher. And there's many, many, many more methods for content marketing, and each one of these you can go as deep as you like. So social media or blogging, you can read how to write the perfect blog post, how often should you write, what topics should you write, and it can go on and on. So what happened with me, and again I don't want to sway you either way, but this is just what happened to me, is that I just basically got tired of doing this, right? Because it was just huge amounts of data. It was consuming my whole day, and and I built my first little list after I'd been in the stock market niche. Then I got really interested in marketing and started a blog, and I built that blog up with the first few, say, a couple of hundred subscribers, just through these content marketing strategies. So tiny list, but actually very, very high quality list because it was through content marketing. So it does work, but there was a lot of energy in it. And what happened to me was I actually moved more into doing joint ventures and affiliates. You'll find other people who go the other way. You'll find people who prefer to do a mix. You'll find some people that only do paid traffic, for example, which I've really done more of more recently on the paid traffic side. So you can choose. Remember, it's your business. I'll give you some options and my experience, but it's up to you what you choose. And if you're not sure, just try stuff, all right? But content marketing is the long road. If you're looking for instant traffic methods, well, tune in for the next few sessions and we'll look at some other options that you might like as well. So let's have a look. Roy says the pessimist sees difficulty in every opportunity. The optimist sees opportunity in every difficulty. Oh, very good. Yes, that's a hard one to remember, Roy. I'm not sure I'll be able to remember that. I'll probably mess it up and get it the wrong way round, but very true. That's great. So Trevor says you can also interview other people. I interviewed Ewan Cheer back in the early 90s. And that gave my business a real lift. Suddenly I was seen as an expert, just like Ewan. Yeah, that's a great strategy. So you can actually interview other people. I used to do this a lot on my blog. In fact, if you go to my blog, gainhighground.com, and if you don't get RSI, you can click back on the blog post, go way back to when I just started. It was just a hobby project. And you'll see some of those early interviews that I did. It's only a handful, probably 5 or 6 or something like that, but that was good because you get the interviewee to promote the interview. People come to your site and so on, and this is podcasting. So another thing that we could add to the list is podcasting. Back then, early 2010s, it was just sort of interviews, a lot of things like that. Podcasts were just sort of getting going, of course, or just on their rise. But it's the same principle now. This is what the whole thing with this course is, that what I'm trying to do is give you the evergreen principles. The social media platforms will come and go. The blogging platforms, the same. Interviews may roll into podcasts. They might go onto YouTube where people get filmed. But so the mediums change and the tools come and go. But if you learn the core principles, it's the same. It's pretty much the same. All right, so it's great knowledge to have. So the pros of content marketing, really it's free, okay, in inverted commas, because it's your time. So if you value your time at nothing, then it's totally free. If on the other hand, which I'd highly recommend, you put a monetary value on your time, then it's obviously not free. But you don't. If you've got a very limited budget, this is a great option. Can be a great option, and it can be very powerful if something goes viral. But there's of course an opportunity cost of your time. What else could you be doing? You could be building another offer. You could be building a membership site. You could be talking to prospective clients on strategy sessions for a coaching program. You could be doing a lot of different things if you're not doing content marketing. So again, it's all about which way do you want to go. Maybe you want to do some content marketing, but you're going to limit yourself. It's not going to be the only strategy. That's certainly, if clients of mine come to me and talk to me about this, then usually I would certainly ring fence it, right, and keep it limited to a certain amount of time. If you do what I did in my early days and let it swamp your entire business because you're infatuated with traffic, like I said at the beginning, then you probably get more traffic, but then you don't know what to do with it, right? It doesn't really convert into any money. So it's all a balance, right? That comes with experience, but hopefully I'm being able to convey some of my experience and from my clients' experiences as well to help you. The other thing is it's very hit and miss. So you can write lots and lots of blog posts, do lots of posts on social media, and they'll just evaporate. Right? You won't get anything from them. So it's pretty. If you think you're going to be frustrated or you haven't got that level of tenacity, maybe content marketing isn't such a great option. Now let's talk about this, which ties very well into what we've sort of touched on, some of the points we've actually touched on. So the fallacy of the great idea. Now you've probably heard this before. It's very common. It's fairly well known. It's the point that you don't have to kind of come up with a brand new invention to be successful. And I think most people accept that. There's lots of examples of that. One of my favourites is Mark Zuckerberg, who started Facebook. Now, he didn't invent social media, right? There was other platforms around. A great example in the UK was Friends Reunited, which was around before Facebook. It was super popular. And then Facebook completely dominated it. Friends Reunited, I think it got bought by ITV, maybe. I'm not sure. Anyway, it died a death. So it's not about inventing social media. It's about the implementation and the angle and the approach that you use. So it's really funny. I think most people get this, but I still get emails. I had one not so long ago with some, long-time subscriber. He sent me an email saying, "I've got this really great idea. I can't really talk about it on email, but would you be willing to have a look at it, and would you sign an NDA, non-disclosure agreement, for it?" And I didn't have time because I like working on my own, and I'm very happy with the projects I've got. So maybe it was a great idea, but I can tell you now that it's almost certain that the value of what he had, if there was any value, was not in the idea. It was totally not in the idea. Where the value is in the implementation. So of course there are terrible ideas, right, that you just don't want to do. But as long as the idea is reasonable, then all the success could be failure to mega success and anywhere in between. And that is determined not by the idea, it's determined by the implementation. So success isn't about great ideas, but instead about creating unique angles, hooks, and new ways and new unique recipes that you've got. That's the key. Mark Zuckerberg came up with a recipe that was just right. Same idea, right? But he just curated it in a new way. You can do the same thing. Joe Wicks did his same way. And when you go through it and you break it down like we just did, you see it's not magic, is it? There's only subtle variations here and there, but and it's quite simple. But put together, it can be incredibly potent. So that is the big takeaway. And there's a lot of thinking here, right? It's not just about learning the tactics and strategies of traffic, but if you can start thinking about the framework and the ideas that we talked about in this session, I think you can get some really great results. So what we're going to do is, I think, wrap this session up. I hope the background noise hasn't been too bad. A lot of grinding going on and all sorts of stuff. But hopefully it'll come together in a few months' time and it'll all be worth it. Do join the Facebook group if you haven't. Any questions you've got, I'd love to hear them. And I'm in there, check in every day, so I can answer any questions you've got personally. If you have a question, Facebook group, that's where you should post it, please. Do join us for our next session, couple of days' time. We'll be continuing with traffic, so different strategy there. Please like the video if you did like it, and thank you again. I hope you enjoyed this session. We will continue rolling. We're not going to stop. We're going to carry on, and I'll see you in a couple of days' time. So until then, take care. Thank you. See you soon.